Yep. So a brief introduction to Haman. That's gonna be our first wolf in sheep's clothing. Haman is first introduced in Esther chapter 3, and I'll just quickly read it. And it says, "After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. For the king so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, Why transgresseth thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, or he did not hear them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then Haman was full of wrath, and he thought to lay hands on Mordecai alone would be to scorn, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai, which is the Jews. Therefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. So we are seeing an individual who was promoted. He was promoted above all the princes. In other words, he was the top prince, just below the king's rule. And he was given this promotion, and he expected a lot of respect, he expected a lot of reverence from people because of his promotion. And now there comes this Mordecai, and these people who instigated Mordecai against Haman. And Haman is brought to the attention that Mordecai has not been bowing before him or giving him reverence. And the fact that he was also a Jew that was also despised made things even worse. So it made him to be even more despised in the eyes of Haman. And he thought to himself, I'm going to show and basically make a ridicule of Mordecai and his people, because he felt scorned. He felt like he wasn't being given reverence the way he's meant to, and especially by a Jew. And so already we can see the mind frame of Haman, that although he was promoted, although he had all this power, already he felt that he needed to exercise his authority and exercise his power over, just one individual really. But he extended his rage to his whole clan, to his whole nation, basically, and all because of a simple thing. Hallelujah. So what am I getting to? Haman basically wanted everyone to practically worship him, and that is one of the things about wolves in sheep's clothing. The whole idea of having being two-faced is so that people can see a certain version of themselves that is good. Basically, they want to have people know that this is the kind of person they are, and yet that's not who they truly are, and that they actually have a secret agenda in everything that they're doing. Another thing I wanted to note is that he looked down upon the Jews. It is really something that we shouldn't be doing. The As I was talking about, the crab in the bucket mentality is, I need to be on top. I need to shine. No one else must shine above me, and no one else must make me feel less than. And this is the mentality that Haman had, that Mordecai isn't supposed to make me feel less than. I shouldn't be feeling less than by an individual that is seen as low in society. Another thing that he demonstrated was the smear campaigning and character assassination. Now, this part, we see it in Esther chapter 3 from verse 8 to 9, when he goes to the king. And he went to the king and he made it seem like these people had done something that was wrong towards the king himself and towards the provinces, so that the king could approve Haman's plan of annihilating and making basically the kingdom go against the Jews to destroy them. It is basically a bit like, this killing off a whole people, killing off a whole nation. I know there's a word for it. Right now, I can't think of it, but it's sort of like, like how people have tribal cleansings. They go for a whole tribe and they destroy the whole tribe. That was the same thing that happened with Haman. Haman wanted to basically destroy the whole nation. They wanted to destroy all the Jews, all because of one man who did not bow to him. So it showed a level of pride and anger that he had. You know, he just had a level of pride that was too much. But the fact that he smear campaigned Jews that did nothing to him, except for according to him, except for Mordecai, the fact that he went and gave this kind of a report to the king already shows that he was smear campaigning them. He was basically character assassinating the Jews. They did not do anything. There was only one man, according to him, that did something to him, but he decided everybody else was going to pay for one man's issues. So he went to the king. He requested for the Jews to be annihilated, and even wanted to pay towards it. But the king, even after hearing the report, even said that he didn't even have to pay, because the report sounded that bad, and that was a false report. Another thing that shows what I'm talking about Haman, is that he was cunning. He did this all because he just wanted to prove a certain point to people, prove a certain point to the nations, that no one goes against him. But the way in which he was approaching it was not in the right way. It was actually in a disloyal way. He was basically bringing up certain accusations about a nation, and yet they had not done the things that he had declared. Probably mixing the truth with lies, because the truth is, the Jews were not allowed to bow down to any other god. They were not allowed to bow down to any other entity besides God, and they were meant to give reverence to God. But instead, Haman portrayed them as ones that did not want to follow the laws of the land, as those who did not want to have the rule of the king over them. And that is what led them to that situation, or can I say that led to the king approving Haman's um, plea. So another thing I wanted to show you was that in Esther 6, the king goes through the records, the records of the kingdom, and he finds that there was a man who helped to catch some, people wanted to assassinate the king, and that nothing was actually done for that man, and that man was actually Mordecai. And so, because the king discovered this, he immediately called Haman to ask him how he can reward Mordecai. Now, when Haman came in with his thought of killing Mordecai to the king, he was met with the king contemplating, a reward for, the one who helped him. And in his mind, he was thinking it was for him, only to find out it was actually for Mordecai. Now, instead of Haman actually saying to the king that this man has been a problem to me, and that this man is the reason for everything that was taking place, he he kept quiet, and he took the orders that the king gave him to go and proclaim, to proclaim the goodness of the king over Mordecai, and to give the reward that, he had suggested, without any complaints. So that shows that, like I said to you, that Haman was deceptive. He was two-faced. He did not want to actually say what his problem was with Mordecai, because he knew that that kind of a problem was not deserving of the Jews to be all annihilated. It wasn't deserving of Mordecai to be hanged on the gallows. He knew that, and that is why he had to go about doing things like this. Another thing was, he was too consumed with his own personal needs than the kingdom's needs. As I said, they are all about their own agenda, they are all about their own needs. So all this time, Haman was concentrating more on killing Mordecai and destroying his entire nation, instead of actually looking at the affairs of the kingdom and what is taking place in the kingdom. So he was wasting his time on his own agenda, and not actually looking to the agenda of the kingdom. And if he had been doing what he was supposed to be doing, then he would have probably been the one to discover that Mordecai had done this for the king, and he would have probably discovered certain problems that needed to be solved. And yet here he is using his time to basically bring one man down and his entire nation with him.